Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Google Workspace Recap, a Tab Geeks Network show. Each week we take you through everything announced by Google Workspace, discussing the updates of the week and other relevant news and announcements. My name is Jesse Nolan, my co-host is Steve Larson, and we're here to help you keep up. I've added some new books to my backdrop library. We've got The Hard Things About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz over here that I just finished reading. And we've got my Adam Grant books, Originals, and Think Again over my shoulder over here. And then the other, to add to my Netflix collection over here, That Will Never Work, by the Netflix original founder, Reed Hastings. And of course, lastly, I finally brought in, and this has been sitting on my shelf for a while, so I forgot to bring it out, Cyber Crisis by Dr. Eric Cole, which is, where did I put it? Over here, right next to The Hard Thing About Hard Things. And if you're interested in his story, you can go and listen to my interview with him on our other show, Heroes of IT. So just thought I would point out some new additions to the background. Although I suppose I should make everybody guess and pay more attention in the future instead of me giving away the answers. But hey, whatever. How's it going, Steve?
Well, interesting you should mention the Heroes of IT. I have not listened to that in ages. I think the last time I listened to it was maybe 2 or 3 months after I was on there, which is when we first started this podcast. So I think I've got a few episodes to catch up on.
Yeah, quite a few. Over there. And the latest 3, the new season, are video, just like that show. So you can go and actually see the people that we're talking to.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, Good to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, what else do we want to talk about here before we get into the episode? Well, I'll talk a little bit about this. So I know last episode we talked a little bit about Queue Backup, right?
We did.
And I actually got it up and running during our, pre-episode chat. That's actually how quick I got it up and running. So it was actually pretty impressive to just spin up a GCP VM, run the command to install Linux, set the firewall rule, connect to the IP on the port, and then leveraged my existing GAM project that I had, created a new service account, and I was up and running and backing up an environment. So pretty cool. It's also nice that it's also running on your own infrastructure, and then also can point to any cloud endpoint in terms of storage, AWS, GCP bucket, or local server storage. So
I'd like to state for the record that they did not sponsor this week's episode, and this is just Steve geeking out because he tried it and he was like, "Oh, we're a resource show. We got to tell them more about this resource that actually is really cool."
Yeah. So first impressions of getting up and running was pretty cool. Actually, I was impressed by it. So I will play with it more and let you know what I think. Because that was just the initial setup. I thought it was going to take a lot longer. Now there's definitely things to improve, like the way that it kind of gives you a screen of your your OAuth, your project ID, and then the scopes. Like they could just give you a link because GAM does that. So we'll give them some feedback to make it better. But
that's what we do.
It was pretty quick. So it was pretty nice.
Went to see Doctor Strange last night. No spoilers.
Yeah, don't say anything.
I'm not going to say anything. I was teasing it. I did not ruin it for you. I was teasing it for you. I was trying to get you to go see it so we can talk about it.
All right.
It was good. Very much enjoyed the movie. And I'm glad that I went to see it when I did, because I have had so much of Picard spoiled for me by all of the spoilers that people are posting online, because I have this thing with new TV shows. I don't like watching them as they're released. I don't like the weekly format. I want to binge them. I want the Netflix format. I want to watch them all in a weekend, and I don't want to, very selfishly, don't want to wait for the next ones to come out. Meanwhile, I'm trying to avoid all of the Picard spoilers because I haven't seen the next season. So that's definitely gonna happen this week because they just wrapped on the last episode. So
speaking of the Picard spoilers, you didn't listen into that webinar with David and me in Chicago, did you?
Which webinar? When?
With Avocor.
No, I didn't get it. There was no link for it. I wanted to.
We posted it. We posted it on Mac Admins. We posted it on Better IT.
Oh man, somehow I missed it.
Yeah, so David was there. David Rosenthal from Google, whom I've known for many years. He just happened to be there. So I met him in person.
Why don't you shoot me
And
a chat? Be like, yo, join this.
I posted it to the like thousands of people. You should
Yeah,
have just been. It
well,
was early in the morning. It was. You were still
I
asleep.
was
I
in
think it
bed.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was what 9:30, 9:45 my time. So
I was.
7:45. Not even
I
eight.
was taking my kids to the bus at that point.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, the two products that are releasing the 65-inch and the 27-inch screens. What I was joking about is that they're calling it the Board 65, and I've been watching so much Star Trek Picard that I thought it was the Borg 65. They kept saying, and so that kind of made it into to the stream there.
It's not a cube.
And actually,
That's the Xbox.
well, and the Borg is actually the internal name for what Google runs on internally. It is the overall term for all of the GCP infrastructure, everything that just all of Google runs on is called Borg.
That's comforting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know
So
about
that was an
that.
interesting little comment that David sent to me. He's like, everything that Google runs on internally is called referred to as the Borg.
That's amazing.
Like, yeah. So there you go. Ooh, wait a minute. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna mute myself. You talk a little bit. I'm gonna mute my phone.
Phone's
So interference.
buzzing there. Yeah, I hear it too. The what was I going to say? All right, so I was talking to the AvaCore people actually. Speaking of the new, I guess the Jamboard replacement, actually looks like a really slick piece of hardware.
Yeah.
Did you get hands-on? Did they have units there for
Oh
to
yeah.
play with?
They had two 27s there. They had a 65. Yeah.
So what are they like?
They
I
had
only
the
had
big
a
shipping
virtual
case.
demo.
Well, so the 27 is going to be coming out sooner than the 65, but the 27 has loads of bugs with it. So
Like,
there's loads of like touchscreen issues
oh
with it.
no.
Like, you've got to. It's the touchscreen pass through is a little finicky because it kind of depends on what kind of device you have. So of course Macs don't really have any touchscreen pass through, so you can't do like double touch anything.
Oh, if you're using it as a
There's
monitor, you
some.
mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There are some like third-party drivers that you can pay for on a Mac, for example, to give you the dual touch functionality. It's like $15 a year. So, if you want to have that kind of touch capabilities on the monitor extension for a device that doesn't natively have that driver support and that pass-through support, you can grab this driver, and then. But otherwise, it's good. I mean, the audio on it's really good. It's a bigger screen. It's functionality wise, it's pretty good. There's a lot of up and coming features that I'm very interested in. In seeing. So Google Meet, as we know, has the ability to join a Cisco WebEx meeting by typing in, the drop down, say, what event are you joining? Well, choose WebEx, put the ID in. There will be more platforms coming in Q4 in a kind of early adopters format,
Cool.
and then probably in Q1 in GA of next year. So, you can imagine who those two top services might be. So I'm looking forward to, now knowing that I can deploy Google Meet hardware in all my rooms where I have people that need to connect to services like Zoom and Teams and Cisco WebEx, because maybe those things might be coming to Google Meet hardware towards the end of the year.
Very cool.
So
What's taking
yeah,
them so long?
I don't know. I mean, the number of people that connect to Cisco WebEx is like, I can count them on my fingers. It's like, there's that many.
You went
even
with
at
WebEx
Google's
before
customer
Zoom?
base, maybe they were just willing to integrate it and develop it with Google more closely.
I feel like Google begrudgingly went with Zoom and Teams because they wanted, like, WebEx. All right, we'll get people using Google Meet to be able to have that compatibility, so the Meet people will tell the WebEx people how amazing it is, and they'll bring them over. But people who are on Zoom are like, it's not that different enough that we're gonna switch.
Maybe.
I don't know. I honestly though, they should just build it out already so that when us Google folks get dragged into a Zoom meeting, which I hate. I mean, I like Zoom. Honestly, it's not that bad, but it's I got to make sure it's installed on the computer that I happen to be using, and forget about it if I'm using a Chromebook. I mean, it's getting better, but still, and if I get dragged into a meeting and I'm in a meet room, if I could just jump on the same hardware that I would use for the meets, that'd be great. That would make me very happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wish that the link would just default to working in the browser and not me having to click 12 times to get to the browser version of Zoom.
Depends on the meeting. Some of them won't even give you the option.
Well, you got to know the shortcut URL. So you just got to modify it to like wc/join/meeting ID.
I haven't had that much of an issue with it that I've needed to learn that link. Usually I'll just grumble and moan about it and then install the app.
Yeah, I try to avoid installing the app.
All right. Do we have topics this week? I know it's going to be a short show, but
we have.
Is there a show in there somewhere, I think?
There's somewhere. We'll get to it. I think we're almost there. We're getting close. How many minutes in?
Well, we're not we're one of the original large Google shows that talk for 3 hours and don't mention Google at all.
Yeah, at least our intros are about Google stuff.
That's right. Good. It's all Google related. Yeah. It's all googly.
Right. It is. Oh, yeah. Well, all right. I'm going to backtrack a little bit more. So when I was at the Avocor event in Chicago and where I met David, I also ran into another Googler, ex-Microsoft, and I think he's like runs some of the Google Voice and Meet PR and product and stuff like that. Like,
so when's he coming on the show?
Microsoft. Well, I emailed him. So and he's actually I started talking to him, and on the way out he escorted me out of the Chicago office, and we started chatting, and I said, oh yeah, I also do this and I do that, and I've got the Workspace Recap podcast. He's like, wait, you're the Workspace Recap podcast? I listened to that. I was like, that's me. That's me. So yes, so we've got ran into a listener, which is nice.
I am continuously shocked at how many Googlers are in our audience.
I mean, I am too, I guess.
I've heard that some of their sales team listen to it just to keep up with the features, just to know what to talk about.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah, if only they could, pay us.
Not pay us. I mean, actually, just come join the show. Like, let's talk more about some of these features.
Give us
That's
better
actually
access.
the email that I sent. Yeah, trying to get some of the PMs to join us and talk about the features in a little bit more depth and kind of the background of where it came from, those kind of things. And actually, one of the topics that came up was how to engage more with customers and also partners with like Google Cloud Connect and the community there.
The same conversation I had out in LA. They're obviously thinking about it.
Yeah, I just gotta get the right people talking about it internally, and then find a consistent place to host it on. That was the issue before. There was the partners, for example, it was the early version of Google Cloud Connect, for example, and then they removed the partner component to it, and they moved the partner information over to Partner Advantage. And Partner Advantage is great from an information one-way push, Google to partner, but there's no dialogue between Google and partner and partner and partner. And that's what the old platform did. It kind of combined everyone. It combined customer, combined partner, it combined Google, and it had these different channels where each of them could interact with each other, or each of them could interact with only those certain ones. And there needs to be a few more little subsets, I think, to Google Cloud, the community there. And actually, I also remember it's what is it, GCC now? I should know. I'm actually on the customer advisory forum for it. I keep forgetting the name of it. It's just it's changed so many times. I'm gonna find it now. Hold on. You don't know it? Google Cloud Community, GCC. Yeah.
I thought you had it before. Yeah.
Well, Google Cloud Connect was the previous one, and there was one before that.
There was the beta name.
Version.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right.
All right,
But getting
topics.
into our updates for this week, let's get to the topics. So, we had a recap post at the end of the week, and in there we have a new little minor announcement here, which is that space descriptions and guidelines in Google Chat are now rolling out. And then in terms of our 4 updates that we did have this week, those are going to be the ability to use new table templates and drop-down chips in Google Docs to create highly collaborative documents. And, it's like, why not just create something maybe a little bit more, I think is what you're going to talk a little bit about there, Jesse. Why not take it a step further, right? Yeah. And then we have the ability to share your video feed when using companion mode in Google Meet. Now, companion mode is great. I use it pretty much every day right now, but it's like lacking one major feature, which I'm surprised it doesn't have. And I'll talk about that when we talk about that update. Next, we have the ability to set recurring task end options directly in Google Tasks. And then finally, space managers can now delete messages in Google Chat. So that's what we've got in terms of the updates. In terms of some other topics that we have in the news, there's an article from Google about how we're keeping up with the increasing demand for Google Workspace the administrator role. And I think this is really just an article about the rebranding, the renaming of the collaboration engineer exam. I haven't read that one. That was one of yours, Jesse.
Yep.
But I think that's what it is. And then we have another one here from Google, which is security myth busting and spring cleaning. So a little discussion around some cybersecurity topics. I think I posted this, but I didn't read it. So have a read through that one, Jessica. I know you like doing the other topics, and maybe read that one while I'm talking about the updates. Get to know that one because I forget to read it. And then the developer preview program. So that's one from you. So hopefully, sorry, hit the mic there. So hopefully that is one that you know about. But the developer preview program, I thought this had come out a while ago. That when we had our Charles on, but I guess this is something that is out now. Something that you came across recently, Jesse?
Beta. Yeah.
Beta? Okay.
Yeah, it's the preview
So it's
program.
a recent beta. Preview. Okay. Yep. All right. Was it helpful? Yes. It's easy to understand. I just voted on it.
You get distracted so easily, Steve.
I do. A little bit. I do a little bit. All right. Let's have a look at these updates. So what was the first one? So the first one I talked about was the silent release, the one about space descriptions and guidelines in Google Chat rolling out now. So this is referring to an older release that they had announced. This was back in February 28th, where you could define and manage chat spaces, space descriptions, and guidelines with the new manager role. But this is finally there. So the feature is now available on mobile and will gradually roll out to the web. So it took a little while for that one to get out to us, but here it is. And actually, I was looking at the old article from February 22. All of the images. I don't know if it's happening for you too, but all the images from that blog article are not loading. They're failing to load. So I think someone deleted the images from source somewhere. Yeah, 3 of the 4 images on that article don't load. So I can see the like metadata names.
No, I got the same.
The image should be. You got the no image?
No image on 3 out of the 4.
Yeah, okay.
Oopsies.
Yeah. So I can see what the images should have been, but I can't actually see the images. So if you want to learn a little bit more, meaning a little bit minus 3 images, click the second link in there in the recap post. And then jumping into the updates that we had this week. So the first one, use new table templates and drop-down chips in Google Docs to create highly collaborative documents. So, giving you some visualization to, let's say, your conditional formatting rules, not conditional formatting, but your what am I drawing? Like not conditional formatting, but your content validation values. So these are things that you could have done before, the validation, for example, but now you're getting some visualization additions like different colors and, being able to mention certain kind of values in the documents here. So things like project status, review status, have some pre-built selectors like not started, blocked, in progress, or complete. The review status has values of like not started, in progress, under review, and approved. And you can create drop-down chips with custom options and colors to best suit your needs. So it's basically a fancy content validation functionality in Google Docs, like you've had in Sheets. What are your thoughts on this one, Jesse? I mean, I think you're saying to Google, let's just take it a step further, right?
Yeah.
And give us a PM tool, essentially, right?
Gonna be a little crass here for a second. Stop half-assing it and go and build the actual Asana competitor that you want to. It's like they're taking steps here, little bits and pieces chipping away, getting closer. And I get it. Google loves the iterative approach, and it's wonderful usually, but they've been iterating at a very snail's pace for a decade. And meanwhile, I love Asana, but I would get rid of them in a hot minute if Google rolled out something that was able to do what we're able to do with Asana, that deep level. Imagine Asana in Workspace, that deep level integration across all of the products. That would be fantastic. The ability to say, oh, right, here's a task, hasn't been touched. If it hasn't been seen in 3 days, send off an email in Gmail to that person, ping them a task, set them a task, and say, hey, have you seen this? Have you looked at it? Following up on here. You could automate so much of this living in this ecosystem that is the wonderful Google Workspace, and it's just not even close. Like, they keep teasing us, and it's just, stop it. That's my rant. It looks nice. The new
Yeah.
updates here, it does. And for those that like to write this out in that kind of a file and that kind of a format, sure, it's going to be a great addition. Takes it another step closer to what Notion has done and to what some of the other ones that are similar to Notion have done, which is what I've been calling this for a while, the notification of Google Workspace. But just like, you don't even have tasks fully integrated into Docs. You can make tasks, but they're not tasks. Come on! Sorry. I'm very passionate about
Well,
this.
yeah, yeah. I think Google needs to just hire us as like PMs so we can like, get all these things developed.
Seriously, focus,
Like just
people.
start hiring a whole bunch of the Google, Workspace admins that have been here for years and bring them as PMs.
Yes,
I think that's
please.
what you need.
Yes, please.
That's what you need. Stop bringing them over from Microsoft. Bring them over from
Seriously,
Google,
from the
like Google
community.
customers. Like start bringing in Google customers.
Make
Yeah,
me make me an offer,
that's what
Google.
you're
I'm
doing.
open. I'm interested.
There you go. There you go. In terms of this feature rollout, we have end users being able to access this from the drop-down menu, insert drop-down, and then also inserting a table template in terms of insert table and table templates. This is rolling out kind of in a multiple features, multiple rollout timelines here. So the drop-down chips are going to be rolling out to wrapped release and scheduled release domains on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for feature visibility, starting on the 2nd of May. And then table templates, these are going to be rolling out to the rapid release domains on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility, starting the 2nd of May. Scheduled release domains need to wait a week later, starting May 9th, also on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility there. And it is available to all customers as well as Legacy G Suite Basic and Business. And it's also available to those with personal Google accounts. All right, next, going into our kind of Meet and video feed companion collaboration mode here. You now have the ability to share your video feed when using companion mode in Google Meet. So what you can do is you can now turn your camera on and share your video feed with all of other participants when you're in companion mode. So for those in-room participants attending a hybrid meeting, it helps improve collaboration, representation. I don't know. So, I mean, but this is the weird thing. Like, the whole point of companion mode to me is that the first device that I join is the device with the audio and the video.
Yes.
And that is my phone. For example, in my situation, that's my phone.
Okay.
My second device is my big device, wherever I'm at. Because I'm on my phone, I may not be in front of a computer right away. I may not be on my laptop. I may not be on my desktop. But eventually I get to it. I'm, traveling, I'm moving around, I'm just, whatever. So what I'm missing actually, and I don't know why this wasn't there from the beginning, is actually in companion mode on that larger screen typically is what for me, I can't see the participants. I can't see their video feed. I have to look back on this tiny little screen to look at their faces and I can't see everyone, of course. And I'm wondering, why can't I see all the video feeds in the companion mode? I only get to see the screen shares, and I only get to see the chat and all those kind of interactive polls and those kind of things. Where's the people? That's where the improved collaboration and representation equity really helps out, as Google calls it, right? Because like my first device is my phone. It has a camera. It has the ability to turn that camera on, and I can actually position it exactly where I want it. It's more dynamic. It's more agile than a laptop that is kind of more fixed, as well as a desktop screen, which is more fixed. And typically the camera's, mounted on the top there and doesn't move. And if you move your screen, you move your camera. Whereas my phone, I set it down, I put it in a spot, I put it on a little, phone stand, and it stays there. Or if I want to reposition it, like I just reposition the camera, knowing that's just that I'm repositioning. So basically, Google, I implore you to bring the video feeds of everyone else into the companion mode. I think that would have been a much more useful feature announcement here.
I don't know how many other people do that the way you do. I disagree with you in terms of the camera placements. If I'm moving to my desk, I want to move my camera to my desk because it's my setup, it's my studio, it's my background, it's all of that. I want to be able to do all of that, as opposed to the looking up my nose from the stand on my desk angle that comes with having my phone over there. Well, but I will add to your...
My camera, my screen is looking down on my head.
Well, it sounds like you need a better camera setup.
No, I can't. You can't. I have a 43-inch screen. There's no space.
Like I said, you need a better camera setup. That's why that's why Dell was demoing that the webcam in the middle there. No, but I would add to your point there and say even if we do this world where people are coming back to the office in a blended approach, and you have what Google's trying to do here, this inclusivity for those who are working remote. Say they're going to be on a big screen at the front of the room. If you're in the back of the conference room, you're not necessarily going to see a bunch of other people that are all on that big screen if you have a lot more people on there. But even for the other people in the back, or say people that are blocked if it's in a much larger auditorium space, to be able to just view the video streams on their laptops, I think that would definitely be beneficial as well, to add to your statement. I mean, they already have that for viewing screen shares, as we were talking about before the show, and chats, as you mentioned. Yeah. And this might be a bit of an edge case. I'm saying basically
and agreeing.
Well, I'm disagreeing with your use case, but I'm adding strength to your request in saying that you should have the ability to have multiple devices connecting to the same meeting without having you in the meeting showing up multiple times, in which you can decide what feeds from those devices are brought into the meeting, right? So of course, if I'm joining the meeting a second time, which is the way that I used to do it before companion mode existed, that I don't want my camera and my microphone or even the audio from my second device to happen there. But should I decide to switch over, I should be able to do that easily and seamlessly. And I think that's where we still have another year or so of development before that becomes reality or even close.
Because see, this is the thing. Like the companion mode, like when you enter companion mode, the whole idea that I think of when I click that is that I am entering in
The Twilight Zone?
limit. Yes, the Twilight. Yeah, a limited functionality in terms of where I'm consuming only.
Right.
I'm not sending anything out. I'm not sending video. I'm not sending audio. That's the whole reason why there's problems with people thinking, oh, I'm going to, join from this device in the room while I'm, also in the room where the meeting is. It's like, well, I guess that's the point, right? Is that, well, here I am in the room where the meeting's actually in the room, the meeting room event, and I'm joining companion mode to like participate by chatting and raising my hand, but I also want to present my video because here I am and look at me because I don't know, the room camera doesn't look on me properly, I guess, whatever reason. But yeah, I don't know. I would rather be able to see everyone on the screen.
Maybe it's two different approaches, right? Is you have one where it's the companion window.
The companion, I think companion mode was initially designed for in-office environments, like lots of people being in the meeting room together at the same time. I'm never in a meeting room with a lot of people anymore, ever.
Yeah, I was in a conference room today by myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I happened to have to go into the office to set up a desk for somebody who's starting, but I took a meeting in the conference room because, well, actually, the IT office that used to be my office that I gave up, the air conditioning was broken, so I was not going to sit in there. This is California. It was hot, even though it's, May. It was hot, and so I went into the conference room, which has air conditioning, and I was the only one there. In fact, I was the only one on the floor, because we haven't forced everyone to come back. It's only those who want. But I agree with you, it's designed to kind of, help the people that are in the office. But I think that there's still a lot more room to go in terms of development and fully making this dream of jumping in between device form factors as seamless as possible, right? Harping back to 2016, 2015, the dream of just being able to hop in between different devices seamlessly whilst still being in the meeting, whether you're in a cab or you're in the office or you're in a kitchen or you're in your car, to be able to move through that. I don't think we've even we've gotten closer, but we're not, it's still a very clunky interface is where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I guess
very clunky UI
experience.
Yeah.
I think, for me, the phone is that key piece to stay connected.
Sure.
But
it should
from an audio
easily jump from there to wherever you end up. And then back again when you're ready, when you have to, leave out.
Well, that's where I like having the phone be the consistent audio and video source.
Right, I get that.
And because that can remain constant very easily.
Yes.
Without much effort.
But then I look like this on all of my videos.
I don't know.
Anybody who's listening on the podcast is going, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah. But yeah, I remember that there was that video, right, of moving between the car.
I can't find it. Where the hell is it? Somebody please find it for me.
Someone on the interwebs can find it.
You remember it, right? I didn't make it up.
I remember it. Yeah, it was the Google video, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
It had to have been shown at IO 15 or 16 because, as you can see from there it is. I was there, and that's like the type of video they would show at that type of an event. I can't imagine where else and when else it would have been. But I can't find it on YouTube or anywhere. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some deep level searching. Ask some Googlers that were there back when. See if David remembers it.
Was it part of the keynote?
I don't know. It must have been. It must have been. It was a Hangouts thing. They had announced Hangouts there. It was a Hangouts announcement, and I don't know.
All right.
And they also announced the Google Home at that same event, and I was like, the interoperability, it's beautiful, it's amazing, it's seamless, it doesn't exist.
never happened.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this feature happened, and it's, coming out starting May 3rd to rep release domains on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for feature visibility there, and starting May 17th for scheduled release domains, also on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for feature visibility. So for those of you who wanted this feature, the wait is no more. Here it is. It's coming. But for those of you looking back to Google Next 2015 or whatever it was called in 2015,
iOS 16 or that one.
iOS
Yeah.
16. Yeah. You still have to wait.
Oh well.
This one's available to all Workspace customers, as well as the G Suite Legacy, Basic, and Business ones as well. So 2 more to go, and then we will be done with our updates here. So you can now set recurring task end options directly in Google Tasks. The ability to click into that task and set the date and time, now possible. I actually thought it was possible before, but I guess it wasn't. Reoccurring task. That's what it was.
You could do it in
options.
Calendar. You couldn't do it in Tasks natively.
Yeah, that's okay. That's why I'm like, I thought this was been possible. But directly within Tasks. Got it. This is, as we're saying, so no admin control for this feature, but end users will be able to do this by going into Tasks and setting this up into the add a task and setting a date and time. Rolling out to wrap release and schedule release domains starting the 4th of May on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for feature visibility. I guess my Roomba said something here. I don't know what's happened with it. That was what the little beep was. It one day it actually got stuck, and it said it's got stuck on the edge of a cliff. Apparently.
Nice.
That was the comment. Usually it's like it's been stuck and needs assistance, but one day it got stuck on the edge of a cliff.
Suicidal robot.
I don't know what cliff it was referring to, but I have no cliffs here.
No stairs.
No stairs. It's just stuck.
Weird.
Incline.
Weird.
It's weird. Yeah.
Does my audio sound normal to you?
You're back to. It seemed normal. Yeah. I don't know. There was some weird change on it when we started.
There was. But, it shows here that I'm using my headphones for the microphone. So I don't know. Do I get louder when I talk closer to my mic?
You do.
Oh, so then maybe I am using the mic. I don't know. Weird. Anyway, go on. And having some issues, but I am working with the Riverside team to resolve them. So
yeah. All right. So we talked about the rollout pace on that. Availability wise, it's available to all Workspace customers, as well as the Legacy, Basic, and Business, and users with personal accounts. All right. And then last but not least, we have space managers can now delete messages in Google Chat. So those space managers sounds like we need to give them like a badge. Like I'm a space manager,
Space Force. Oh wait, that's something else.
Yeah. So what do you do? What do you do at work? Oh, I'm a space manager.
Manage spaces.
I wonder if that'll become an actual job role. Probably not, but
Workspace manager is.
I'm a space manager.
In fact, that leads directly into the administrator role, Workspace manager.
Yeah. Oh, it will. Yes, it will. Okay.
We'll get there.
Workspace admin. Yes. So the space managers can now easily moderate their spaces and remove any content that is irrelevant or inappropriate in the space. If you are a space manager, you can hover over a message and select delete the message option. This is going to roll out to rapid release and schedule release domains starting on the 6th of May on a gradual rollout up to 15 days for visibility. Availability wise, available to most of the SKUs, but not all of them. It will not be available to Workspace Essentials, Business Starter, Frontline, and nonprofits, as well as the Legacy G Suite Basic and Business customers, but available to everyone else. So unfortunately, I will not be able to use this feature. But I am thinking about upgrading our Workspace nonprofit domain to like a paid version, which we get some deep discounts on. Which would be nice. Yeah. So let's set the call. I just had my engineer start today.
Aren't you part of the Workspace, not Workspace, the Google startups ecosystem? Shouldn't you like just get Workspace?
It would be nice.
The argument could be made.
Yes, we are the Google for Startups partner location in Chicago.
If anything, all of the startups that are part of your program should get it for free so that they start out on the right foot using Google Workspace as they should. Just saying. Nice, right? I'm just saying. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm just saying.
I'm working on it. I'm working on that angle. We'll see what we can do. Yeah.
Make it happen.
All right. So I think we talked about all the updates. That's everything for this week, folks. And on to our other topics. First one being that Workspace admin role.
Yep. So this is, as Steve was saying before, the rebranded Professional Collaboration Engineer certification, which is a mouthful, is a different mouthful now, the Professional Google Workspace Administrator certification, and updated the learning path. And the reason why I said it is a nice segue here is because they do a blog post on the Google Cloud blog where they walk through what it's like starting out as a Google Workspace Administrator, how the role has changed the last couple of years, why get into it, and how the demand for certified Google Workspace admins has changed recently. So that's definitely a I don't know if it's a full-time career path. I guess for much, much larger companies, it definitely could be a full-time job. Although if you're at that level, I sure as hell hope you're automating the majority of that stuff by now. If you're not, get on it, because there's a lot that can be done there. And it can be very, very time-consuming if you try and do all that by hand. So anyway, Steve, didn't you beta test the Google Workspace Administrator certification?
I did. I was just looking up, trying to verify what number I was. So I was the 20th certified Workspace Administrator.
I have to actually take it. I have to sit down and just do it.
It actually says, like, on my certificate now, like on credentials.net, it actually updated the name. So it dynamically updated the name of it. So it says Professional Google Workspace Administrator now.
Very impressive. Very cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was that article. If you're curious about how the demand has increased and all the other things that I mentioned over here, you can go and click through our show notes and you can read that article. And the next one that we have here is the one that Steve put in over here, called Security Myth Busting and Spring Cleaning, another Google blog post. This one over on The Keyword, which is a cloud-focused blog, and is spring cleaning in terms of passwords. So you want to... They basically go through and debunk some of the older cybersecurity myths here, such as, it's up to me to spot suspicious links on my own. Say that 5 times fast. Also, avoid public Wi-Fi at all costs, which is no longer the case. Bluetooth is dangerous, also no longer the case. Password managers are risky. Yeah, depends which one. Cyber criminals won't waste their time targeting me. Yeah, it's not a thing anymore. It's all just automated botnets and whatnot. And basically what this article goes through is it talks about all of those main topics that I just mentioned, as well as in with the new, the digital spring cleaning, where they are, of course, advocating for the use of two-step verification, a password manager, proper account recovery, and to install updates of the devices that you use. And that is how you and your users can better stay safe in this crazy automated malicious world that we live in, at least from a cybersecurity landscape. The next topic that I have here, or the last topic that I have here, is the Developer Preview Program. This is the Google Workspace Developer Preview Program, which gives you early access to certain features. This is more for developers who want to tie in their apps or their programs into certain APIs and certain features in Google Workspace. So if you are one of those folks, then you should definitely apply to join the developer preview program. In my experience with Google, if you apply, especially if you apply early, generally you are going to get in. So there is a Google form here on the on this help article, which we'll link to, where you just go through and fill out your information, company name, company website, if you're a member of Partner Advantage, and what you use or interested in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's pretty much it. So if you're developing for Google Workspace, definitely go check that out. And if you're not developing for Google Workspace, then check it out anyway and maybe start, because there's a lot you can do with it. So that's it. That's our show. Feel free to send us your questions on Twitter and on our website, workspacerecap.com. Steve, you want to say something? It sounded like you had your mic off mute for a second.
No,
you're good.
I didn't know if you were going to ask me something. I was just kind of getting ready.
I was giving you the option there if you had something to add and whatnot, but that's cool. It's all good. Where was I? Right, hit the subscribe button, leave us a review on your favorite podcasting platform, or drop your comments, share us with your friends, hit the like button on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to all of our channels. We love to hear from you, we love having you, we love making content for you. Sign up for our newsletter, our Slack community, which is sponsor free and no marketers allowed. And whoops, I just dropped my fidget spinner, sorry about that. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Workspace Recap.